Mega rally against Islamification of schools in Paris. Protesters call for secularism. Massive protest erupts in Rome over Italy backing anti-Russia sanctions. Imran Khan upsets Shehbaz Sharif-led ruling coalition, bags 6 National Assembly to Punjab Assembly seats in by-elections. Hello and welcome. You're watching World This Morning here on Republic. I'm Rukma. In our top story, we bring you breaking news now. Russian forces have attacked Mykolaiv Oblast with Iranian-made drones. Ukraine's Air Force reported that within an hour on October 16th, anti-aircraft missile units of the Air Command South destroyed 9 Shahed 136 Iranian-made kamikaze drones in southern Ukraine. The Air Force reported that 2 other Shahed 136 drones were shot down by the National Guard and Ukraine's territorial defense forces. Ukraine's commander South said 3 drones hit industrial infrastructure facilities and a pharmaceutical warehouse in Mykolaiv. Rescuers are working to extinguish the fire. According to preliminary information, there are no casualties. And so Russia ups the ante. Moving on now to other news stories. China has achieved comprehensive control over Hong Kong, turning it from chaos to governance. Chinese President Xi Jinping said in a speech on Sunday at the opening of the once-in-5-year Communist Party Congress in Beijing. Let's listen in.
Chinese President Xi Jinping received the third 5-year term, breaking with recent precedent and establishing him as arguably the most powerful Chinese politician since Mao Zedong.
中国共产党第20次全国代表大会是在全党全国各族人民迈上全面建设社会主义现代化国家新征程，向第2个100年奋斗目标进军的关键时刻。
During the Communist Party conference, Xi delivered a lengthy report at the opening in which he extolled the achievements of the past 5 years and said the party would strive to meet its modernization goals and achieve what it calls the rejuvenation of the nation.
中国共产党的中心任务就是团结带领全国各族人民全面建成社会主义现代化强国，实现第2个100年奋斗目标，以中国式现代化全面推进中华民族伟大复兴。
Xi also stressed the need of promoting high-standard opening up and developing dual circulation by relying more on its huge domestic market of 1.4 billion consumers. Further, he said that his government would maintain policies over Hong Kong and Taiwan that have put it at odds with the US and other nations.
国家统一、民族复兴的历史车轮滚滚向前。 祖国完全统一一定要实现，也一定能够实现。
His government imposed a national security law imposed on the city that has all but eliminated opposition voices and demands for democracy.
解决台湾问题是中国人自己的事，要由中国人来决定。 我们坚持以最大诚意、尽最大努力，争取和平统一的前景，但绝不承诺 放弃使用武力，保留采取一切必要措施的选项。
Xi reaffirmed that China will not rule out using force to bring the self-governing island of Taiwan under its control. Moreover, President also praises China's zero-COVID policy.
特别是面对突如其来的新冠肺炎疫情，我们坚持人民至上、生命至上，坚持动态清零不动摇，开展抗击疫情、人民战争、总体战、阻击战，最大限度保护了人民生命安全和身体健康，统筹疫情防控和经济社会发展取得重大
but gave no indication of a possible change despite public frustration with its rising cost.
忧患意识，坚持底线思维，做到居安思危、未雨绸缪，准备经受风高浪急，甚至惊涛骇浪的
Earlier this week, banners criticizing Xi and zero-COVID policy were hung over a major Beijing fair in a rare protest. But despite the rising opposition to a number of policies, Xi and the Communist Party for now rose in power. Agency report, Republic TV.
Pro-Kremlin officials on Sunday blamed Ukraine for a rocket attack that struck the mayor's office in a key Ukrainian city controlled by the separatists. Separately, Ukrainian officials said Russian rockets struck a city across from the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, injuring 6 people. Here's more.
The mayor's office in a key eastern Ukrainian city controlled by pro-Kremlin separatists have been struck by rockets while people were injured. No casualties were reported yet. The attack on the municipal building in Donetsk was seriously damaged, which local separatist authorities putting the blame on Ukraine.
Будут направлены все осколки на экспертизу и будет уже в дальнейшем установлено, что за снаряд был определен. По данному факту возбуждено уголовное дело. Следственными органами проводится расследование по данному факту.
В чем заключается ваша работа сейчас? На что смотрите?
Осмотр места происшествия, оценение ущерба, ну и были ли пострадавшие.
According to reports, 3 cars parked nearby were also destroyed by fire as a result of the strike, and Kyiv has made no comment on the attack. Kremlin-backed separatist authorities have previously accused Ukraine of numerous strikes on infrastructure and residential targets in the occupied territories, often employing the US-supplied long-range HIMARS rockets without providing corroborating information. Agency report, Republic TV.
People in Barcelona are protesting against Iran and its atrocities against women that have been taking place. Meanwhile, the Barcelona population have come out in defense of women's rights in Iran following the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. A report.
Hundreds rallied in Barcelona on Saturday in defense of women's rights in Iran. The protest comes out after the death of Amini. The protest event was organized by the members of the Spanish-Iranian community and began at the city's Catalonia Square. Demonstrators were seen with banners reading, "We are Iran, not the Islamic Republic," and "Women, Life and Freedom." Many painted their hands red as they marched towards the square to observe a minute's silence. Amini fell into a coma and died on September 16 following an arrest by Tehran's morality police for allegedly breaking strict hijab rules. The authorities claim she had a heart attack, while protesters claimed Amini was beaten and her family had denied she had many health problems. Amini's death has sparked widespread protests across Iran, with dozens reportedly killed and hundreds arrested amid harsh crackdowns. Agency report, Republic TV.
Pope Francis has decided to extend the Synod of Bishops' synodality by a year as per a latest announcement. The already planned 2023 gathering of bishops would now take place in two stages, one in October 2023 and the other in October 2024. Here are the details.
In order to have a better understanding, Francis announced on Sunday that the Synod on Bishops has been extended by a year. As per the Pope Francis, the planned 2023 gathering would take place in two stages, one session in October 2023 and the second in October 2024.
Allo scopo di disporre di un tempo di discernimento più disteso, ho stabilito che questa assemblea sinodale si svolgerà in due sessioni. La prima dal 4 al 29 ottobre del 23 e la seconda nell'ottobre del 24. Confido che questa decisione
While announcing the year-long extension, Francis said the fruits of the first phase has been many, but in order to reach a full maturity, it's necessary that we not rush things.
Lunedì prossimo, 18 ottobre, la Fondazione Aiuto la Chiesa che Soffre promuove l'iniziativa 1 milione di bambini recita il rosario per la pace nel mondo. Grazie a tutti i bambini e le bambine che parteciperanno. Ci uniamo a loro e affidiamo all'intercessione della Madonna il martoriato popolo ucraino e le altre popolazioni che soffrono per la guerra e ogni forma di violenza e miseria.
Francis in his address thanked all those who have taken an initiative to provide aid to the children. He also brought the Ukraine sufferings into light while saying that the God will end the suffering of tormented Ukrainians and others. Agency report, Republic TV.
And time now for a short break here on World This Morning. But coming up after that, mega rally against Islamification of schools in Paris. Protesters call for secularism. And also coming up, Imran Khan upsets Shehbaz Sharif-led ruling coalition, backs 6 National Assembly, 2 Punjab Assembly seats in by-elections.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके, उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave.
P.K. Bhatt, who was shot dead by terrorists yesterday. Unfortunate news came from the Kashmir Valley.
Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation after the FIR was registered. interim report has been submitted and found that about 6,500 plus madrasas are illegal in the sense that they are not registered. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In fact, he has now been asked to appear before the Central Agency tomorrow.
आपको लगता है कि हमारे नेताओं को गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे तो आम आदमी पार्टी का प्रचार कमजोर पड़ जाएगा, आम आदमी पार्टी कमजोर हो जाएगी, मगर ये आने वाला समय बताएगा।
जेल और बेल के बीच में घूमने वाले एमएलए वो आज आम आदमी पार्टी के एमएलए हैं।
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके, उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave.
PK Bhatt, who was shot dead by terrorists yesterday. Unfortunate news came from the Kashmir Valley.
Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation after the FIR was registered. Interim report has been submitted and found that about 6,500 plus madrasas are illegal in the sense that they are not registered. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In fact, he has now been asked to appear before the Central Agency tomorrow.
आपको लगता है कि हमारे नेताओं को गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे तो आम आदमी पार्टी का प्रचार कमजोर पड़ जाएगा, आम आदमी पार्टी कमजोर हो जाएगी, मगर ये आने वाला समय बताएगा।
जेल और बेल के बीच में घूमने वाले एमएलए वो आज आम आदमी पार्टी के एमएलए हैं।
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके, उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
Media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave.
Welcome back to the world this morning. And in other news from across the globe, hundreds of people are holding protests in Rome to show their discontent against the Italian government joining anti-Russian sanctions and NATO sending arms to Ukraine. Take a look.
Hundreds of Italian people have been protesting against Italy to join anti-Russian sanctions and NATO sending arms to Ukraine. As per the footage, protesters can be seen holding banners reading "No to war, no to sanction, yes to peace and work." Meanwhile, the protesters also held banners saying "Bills equals war, let Draghi pay them," while listening to the speeches being delivered from the stage. The protests come amid Russia-Ukraine war as protesters oppose Italian government's decision to go against Russia. Clearing the air on why Italy is not supporting Russia, leader of political party Narco Rizzo, while speaking to demonstrators, claimed that Italy can resist and be reborn only if it will have gas at a very low cost.
Di chiudere la vicenda delle sanzioni, perché il nostro paese può rinascere, può resistere solo ed esclusivamente se avrà del gas a bassissimo costo. E questo non avverrà certo col gas degli americani, se ne sono accorti, per modo di dire, i francesi. Il ministro dell'economia ha spiegato che non era possibile che i francesi potevano pagare il gas americano 4 volte di più. E perché forse gli italiani lo possono fare? Vergognatevi, tutti assieme. Queste classi dirigenti dell'Europa sono fatte da venduti, da traditori delle loro patrie, dei loro popoli.
As per the leader, Italy cannot buy gas from USA. Explaining why Italy can't rely on US, the politician said that it is not possible for the French to pay 4 times more for USA gas. While opposing the leader, one of the protesters said that these decisions, like going against Russia, have an impact on US.
E queste scelte però di andare contro la Russia ricadono su di noi, l'aumento delle bollette, sono tantissime le imprese che stanno chiudendo e anche i lavoratori non arrivano più alla fine del mese. Oggi siamo qui per dire basta a tutto questo.
Bills are rising and many businesses are closing. These are the workers who do not make ends meet. We are here to say stop to all this, the protester asserted.
Il Parlamento di oggi approva le sanzioni, approva la guerra. Bene, allora il governo si faccia carico dell'aumento delle bollette.
The end-to-end war has been going between Italians and their government, with governments standing concrete on their decision to not support Russia at this moment. Agency report, Republic TV.
Well, that's all we have for you in the world this morning. But coming up in the Morning Express, all the news as the CBI news tightens in Liquorgate. Kejriwal's deputy, Manish Sisodia, summoned, asked to appear at 11 this morning. Also coming up, BJP swings into action mode. Key meet today in national capital to strategize over Himachal polls.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके, उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave.
Bhatt, who was shot dead by terrorists yesterday. Unfortunate news came from the Kashmir Valley.
Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation after the FIR was registered. Interim report has been submitted and found that about 6,500 plus madrasas are illegal in the sense that they are not registered. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In fact, he has now been asked to appear before the central agency tomorrow.
आपको लगता है कि हमारे नेताओं को गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे तो आम आदमी पार्टी का प्रचार कमजोर पड़ जाएगा, आम आदमी पार्टी कमजोर हो जाएगी, मगर ये आने वाला समय बताएगा। जेल और बेल के बीच में घूमने वाले एमएलए वो आज आम आदमी पार्टी के एमएलए हैं।
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके, उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave.
PK Bhatt, who was shot dead by terrorists yesterday. Unfortunate news came from the Kashmir Valley.
Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation after the FIR was registered. Interim report has been submitted and found that about 6,500 plus madrasas are illegal in the sense that they are not registered. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In fact, he has now been asked to appear before the central agency tomorrow.
आपको लगता है कि हमारे नेताओं को गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे तो आम आदमी पार्टी का प्रचार कमजोर पड़ जाएगा, आम आदमी पार्टी कमजोर हो जाएगी, मगर ये आने वाला समय बताएगा। जेल और बेल के बीच में घूमने वाले एमएलए वो आज आम आदमी पार्टी के एमएलए हैं।
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके, उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens?
The CBI's news tightens in Liquorgate. Kejriwal's deputy Manish Sisodia is summoned, asked to appear at 11. The BJP swings into action, a key mate today in the national capital to strategize on the polls in Himachal Pradesh. The Vadra Congress presidential level comedy continues. It is Tharoor versus the chosen Kharge. Sanjay Raut is to be produced in court. ED is likely to push hard for extended custody. And Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is on a 4-day visit to Gujarat, slated to attend the India-Africa Defence Dialogue. Good morning and welcome. You are watching Republic TV. This is the Morning Express. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. We begin with news that's just coming in. In fact, trouble is mounting for the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, who's now been summoned by the CBI today in the Delhi excise policy scam. Now, Kejriwal's deputy Sisodia has been asked to appear before the Central Probe Agency at about 11 o'clock this morning, while the Aam Aadmi Party fears that his arrest, Sisodia will be grilled by the CBI in connection with the case. Now, do remember that Manish Sisodia, of course, has been investigated by the CBI in the Liquorgate scam for a while now. And what we are given to understand is that he's been asked to appear before the CBI again today. There have been raids that have been conducted by the CBI at his residence as well as his office. Let's
कि कहा तो जा रहा था कि मनीष जी को नोटिस के लिए बुलाया गया है, बट जिस तरीके से पुलिस ने घेराबंदी की है, जिस तरीके से मनीष जी के घर को पूरी छावनी के अंदर तब्दील कर दिया गया है, सीधा संकेत है कि आज मनीष जी को गिरफ्तार किया जा रहा है। और हमें लगता है ये आज़ादी की दूसरी लड़ाई है। जिस तरह से सरदार भगत सिंह ने देश के लिए कुर्बानी दी, देश को आज़ाद कराया, आज वो समय आ गया है जब देश दोबारा कुर्बानी मांग रहा है। और मनीष सिसोदिया हों या सत्येंद्र जैन हों, ये आज के युग के स्वतंत्रता सेनानी हैं, आज के युग के सरदार भगत सिंह हैं। ये सभी लोग शहीद आज़म सरदार भगत सिंह के वंशज हैं और कुर्बानी देने के लिए तैयार हैं।
अपने मुंह से इन महान लोगों का नाम मत लीजिए। एक मुख्यमंत्री तो आपका दारू पी के डिबोर्ड हो गया और दूसरा उप मुख्यमंत्री दारू के ठेकों में फंसा हुआ है। इस दारू से बाहर निकलिए और दिल्ली और पंजाब के लोगों के लिए कोई सार्थक बातें सोचिए। आप हर वक्त तो फ्रैंकफर्ट एयरपोर्ट पे क्या हुआ, देश को शर्मिंदा होना पड़ा, और अब आपका दूसरा उप मुख्यमंत्री दारू के ठेकों में फंसा हुआ है। मुझे ये बताइए, आपका ये दारू प्रेम कब खत्म होगा? कब आप वास्तव में दिल्ली और पंजाब के लोगों को सुशासन देने के बारे में सोचोगे?
All right. So the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister is going to be has been summoned by the CBI at about 11 o'clock. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has been saying since yesterday that they believe Manish Sisodia will be arrested by the CBI in the Liquorgate scam. But he has been grilled by the CBI as well as the ED in this particular case, and we're given to understand that he's going to continue. The CBI is going to ask him several questions. Now, do remember that there have been a lot of developments in the Liquorgate case for in the past 2 to 3 weeks. We have seen arrests of people who've been named in the FIR. Now, there are a total of 11 accused in the FIR. Some of them, of course, have also been investigated by the ED, which is looking to establish the money trail in Liquorgate. This, of course, deals with the now defunct liquor policy of the Delhi government. It's been withdrawn by the Delhi government after the scam came to light. Let's go across to Harsha. I think she's reporting from outside the CBI headquarters in the national capital. Good morning, Harsha. Give us a sense of what we're expecting. It's at about 11 o'clock is when he's supposed to make an appearance.
Reporting from outside the residence of Manish Sisodia has just already inside the residence of Manish Sisodia, and Atishi and Sanjay Singh will also leave from the residence to come at the residence of Manish Sisodia, because we are getting today
Well, very poor audio connection. I think that's a very, very poor audio connection that we have with Harsha. We're going to try and fix that and go back to her in just a bit. She is outside Manish Sisodia's residence. Now, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, of course, has been summoned by the CBI at 11 o'clock in the Delhi excise policy scam. He has been asked to appear before the probe agency at 11 this morning. Now, while the Aam Aadmi Party fears his arrest, Sisodia will be grilled by the CBI in connection with the case. We've, of course, heard of several leaders from the Aam Aadmi Party talking about what they call is a political witch hunt.
His residence was raided, his lockers were searched, and has been named accused number 1 in the Liquorgate FIR. Now, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has been summoned by the CBI today at 11 a.m. Comparing Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain to freedom fighter Bhagat Singh, Arvind Kejriwal said, "This is the second fight for freedom." While Manish Sisodia has promised to appear before the CBI and cooperate, however, Aam Aadmi Party is preempting his arrest after CBI grilling. They claim an attempt is being made to plug its Gujarat poll campaign.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके, उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा.
Among the big arrests in the Delhi Liquorgate so far are Sisodia's close aide and businessman Vijay Nair, Indospirit MD Samir Mahendru and Hyderabad-based businessman Abhishek Boinpalli. Sisodia, who's in charge of the excise department, has been under the lens of the CBI and ED for alleged lapses which provided undue benefits to the tender process for liquor licensees for the year 2021 and 22. The excise policy was passed in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021. Manish Sisodia was among 15 others booked in an FIR filed by the CBI in August, including then Excise Commissioner Arva Gopi Krishna, Deputy Commissioner Anand Tiwari and Assistant Commissioner Pankaj Bhatnagar. According to sources, CBI is expected to grill Aam Aadmi Party leader on how blacklisted companies were issued licenses, how decisions were taken without the approval of the Delhi Lieutenant Governor, which resulted in windfall gains to licensees and revenue loss to the Delhi government. Ahead of his grilling, Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia wrote to the Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena, raising questions over the law and order situation, citing recent incidents of rape and murder in the national capital. In his letter, Sisodia asserted that since the Delhi police comes under the Lieutenant Governor's control, he must control it. The BJP was quick to hit back at Sisodia for attempting to divert attention and playing the victim card.
Whenever their leaders are involved in corruption and processes of law, agencies of law take action on them, instead of submitting themselves and answering the questions that are being asked, they start playing a victimhood card.
All eyes are on Manish Sisodia's interrogation as he appears before the CBI at 11 a.m. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, I think we've got Harsha live with us. She's reporting from outside Manish Sisodia's residence. Harsha, good morning. Harsha, take us to what we are expecting. Of course, the allegation from the Aam Aadmi Party so far has been that this is a political witch hunt, and they believe that Manish Sisodia will be arrested today.
Exactly, to put on one side, Aam Aadmi Party functionaries and the leaders Atishi, Saurabh Bhardwaj and Sanjay Singh hold a different press conference yesterday in national capital where they stated that Manish Sisodia arrest is confirmed, as though CBI has got no evidence, but still they will arrest Manish Sisodia after summoning him and questioning him at CBI headquarters, because clearly BJP is afraid of, they are fearing Aam Aadmi Party in the poll-bound Gujarat state. But one thing to tell you that today, since morning at Manish Sisodia residence, there are a lot of movements of Aam Aadmi Party leaders. Saurabh Bhardwaj has already reached here. Anytime Sanjay Singh and Atishi are also expected to reach here at the residence of Manish Sisodia. Though Manish Sisodia has tweeted that he will go to CBI headquarters and support and completely cooperate for questioning with CBI. But what CBI and ED have got leads after questioning Abhishek Boinpalli, Samir Mohendro, Vijay Nair and others, after the documentation, proof and thorough investigation and thorough questioning from them, now Manish Sisodia has been summoned by CBI, and today the questioning will start from 11 a.m. onwards, and we are told that Manish Sisodia will leave his residence at around 10:30 a.m. Atishi, Sanjay Singh, Saurabh Bhardwaj, all the Aam Aadmi Party leaders are coming here at Manish Sisodia residence. They all will assist Manish Sisodia to go to CBI headquarters. But one thing is for sure, that more than 500 raids were conducted by the agencies at different places, not only Delhi NCR, but be it Telangana, be it Hyderabad, be it Mumbai, be it Rajasthan, everywhere the raids were conducted from August till October, and many evidences, documentation, proof and cyber evidences were collected from the residence offices of the people who were blacklisted, the company who were allegedly given the tenders and the licenses of the liquor to open the shops in Delhi. We also saw how Abhishek Boinpalli was arrested, and in the initial custody only he gave very important leads to investigative agency that how they have all planned this entire formalities and formulation and irregularities were done in the Delhi new excise policy. And after that, again the custody of Abhishek Boinpalli was taken by Enforcement Directorate, and now after getting all those leads, today Manish Sisodia is summoned by CBI, and we are getting to know Sharp at 11 a.m., Manish Sisodia will reach CBI headquarters.
Right.
In August, we saw how raids were conducted at the residence of Manish Sisodia, how we saw his locker, his office, his residence, all were raided by CBI. And Aam Aadmi Party has continuously been saying that CBI had got no evidence from the residence office of Manish Sisodia. They are only doing it because of political vendetta. They are only doing it because of the witch hunt about because there's an election in the poll-bound Gujarat state, and they are afraid of the popularity which Aam Aadmi Party leaders are getting in Gujarat, and because of that they want Manish Sisodia to stop his campaign in Gujarat, and because of that this all is being done. So today it's going
Right,
to be
Harsha, if you can just hold your thoughts for a minute. Harsha, can you even hear me? Harsha, I was asking you now, give us a sense of where, in an overall sense, does the investigation stand so far? Now, there are two parts to this investigation. Of course, one is by the CBI and the other is by the Enforcement Directorate, which is essentially looking at, the allegation of corruption and how that money was used.
Exactly, Nupur, rightly stated by you. Two possibilities are being seen. One, the crime angle which has been done in the formulation of the policy of the new Delhi excise policy, and other is the money laundering, because we have got to know that the bribes were exchanged, bribes were given, and some percentage of the commission was involved. And now when Enforcement Directorate, after going through the entire FIR of CBI, they have registered a formal case against all those 13 accused who CBI has named in their FIR. After that formal case was registered by Enforcement Directorate. Enforcement Directorate also raided the residence of Sameer Mohindru and Abhishek Boinpoli, when they got to know that how there were a nexus of 4 to 6 licensors, 4 to 6 brokers, middlemen who were involved in giving the bribes, and the money not only from Delhi NCR or from different places was circulated and given in cash. A lot of cash flow was also done in this formulation of new Delhi excise policy. So there are two aspects. One, the crime angle, and the other is the money laundering angle, and CBI and ED are both investigating in the different point of view, because we saw CBI also question Vijay Nair and others in CBI headquarters. The accused number 7, 9, 10 were called by CBI at CBI headquarters, and we saw many leads and many documentation proof was shown to them, where it was asked to them how this new Delhi excise policy was constructed, was formulated. Right. And after all those raids today, Manish Sisodia will be questioned by CBI. So Nupur, this is the entire background of how it all started. First, CBI registered a formal case, and after that, ED registered a formal case linked to the money laundering which has happened in this entire Delhi new excise policy. Back to you.
Harsha reporting on that from New Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us. So Harsha, of course, is telling us that we are expecting Manish Sisodia to make his way to the CBI's office at about 11 o'clock this morning. Thank you very much. Now, after 24 years of constant postponing internal party elections to keep the chair with the Vadras, Gandhis, the Vadra Congress is all set to hold a facade of a presidential election today.
It all began when Tharoor claiming he had received the permission from Sonia Gandhi to contest in the polls. From then on, the polls took a bizarre turn. While one candidate's election manifesto shows a divided and distorted India,
हमको पता है कि 2014 में हमें 19% वोट मिले, 2019 में उसी 19% पे हम रह गए, और इसी हालत में 2024 तक हमको चल नहीं सकते, क्योंकि हमारे देश के लिए एक मजबूत कांग्रेस बड़ी जरूरी है.
The other was a history of abuse and sycophantism too.
Vindictive policies of BJP and RSS. They are dividing the country on the basis of religion. They are dividing even the backward, scheduled caste, the minorities, everybody. They are looking on the point of only, what you can say, election only. Polarizing, they know.
And yet another, many say, is just to create an illusion of choice. Now the senior leadership has dropped all pretense of neutrality, with Ashok Gehlot openly coming out in support of Mallikarjun Kharge.
श्री मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे साहब पार्टी के बहुत ही अनुभवी व्यक्ति के धनी हैं, जो व्यक्ति लगातार 9 चुनाव विधानसभा के, 2 चुनाव लोकसभा के जीते हैं और राज्यसभा के अंदर नेता प्रतिपक्ष हैं। आप सोच सकते हैं कि 50 साल से अधिक का समय जिंदगी में हो गया, इतने अनुभव प्राप्त किए, चाहे असेंबली में हो, चाहे वो लोकसभा में हो, चाहे राज्यसभा के अंदर है।
The poll saw allegations and counter-allegations being leveled as all candidates try to protect themselves as the biggest loyalists.
कुछ नेताओं जिस किस्म के काम किए हैं उसके बारे में मैंने कहा कि लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड नहीं है, क्योंकि कई जगह में आप देखे होंगे कि प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटी के अध्यक्ष, सीएलपी नेता, बड़े नेता कि खड़गे साहब को स्वीकार करते हैं, स्वागत करते हैं, बिठाते हैं, उनके साथ बैठते हैं, लोगों को बुलाते हैं मीटिंग्स के लिए, पीसीसी से निर्देश जाते हैं कि आ जाओ खड़गे साहब आ रहे हैं। इस किस्म की चीज़ें कई पीसीसी में हुए हैं।
इनको भी, जो दोनों कैंडिडेट है उनको भी हमने जानकारी दे दी है उसके अंदर से। अब कौन सी चीज़ वो हो नहीं रही है वो हमें पता नहीं है, और नहीं हमको किसी ने कांटेक्ट किया है। इसके सवाल है कितने इंडिविजुअल किसी के बारे में, वो हमारे परव्यू के बाहर है। हम किसी को रोक नहीं सकते कि आप इनका कैनवास ना करो, कि इनका करो, कि इनका ना करो, कैसा। अब इट्स डिपेंड ऑन इंडिविजुअल्स उसके अंदर। अब उसको वो अगर जो लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड नहीं मानते तो वी कांट हेल्प एज फार एज थिंग्स विच वर इन आवर कंट्रोल।
This so-called vote of democracy within the party saw the Kerala Congress and Karnataka Congress coming out in support of Kharge. Hours before the polls, Kharge's statement hit in the nail in the coffin and confirmed that this was nothing but a fight for a remote-controlled post. With the polls taking place in few hours, will any of it change the true center of power in the eroding party? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, the Ludhiana police on Sunday arrested a dismissed Punjab police constable who allegedly was a part of a team that did a recce and supplied weapons for the murder of the Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewala. Now, the police have said that Gurmeet Singh, also known as Meeta, is someone who was part of the Lawrence Bishnoi gang. Let's go across live to Amandeep, who has more details on this. Amandeep, good morning. Amandeep, we are given to understand that the police believe that this cop was the one who actually, former cop rather, was someone who actually did the recce and thereafter was very actively involved in making sure that the assassination of Sidhu Moosewala went off.
Well, absolutely, Nupur. The point is that during the course of investigation, the police have procured the CCTV cameras that was installed outside the residence of Sidhu Moosewala. And this person, Gurmeet Singh alias Meeta, has been witnessed and spotted in that CCTV camera several times. And along with the shooters who killed Sidhu Moosewala, Manpreet Manna and several other shooters, they have conducted the recce before and after killing Sidhu Moosewala. And on that basis, the police have arrested this person. And later on, it has came to fore during the course of interrogation of Meeta as well, that he has also supplied the weapons to the shooters, and even he helped them to provide the shelters as well. And even primarily Sandeep Ekda was the one who has provided the information to the shooters when Sidhu Moosewala left from his residence on May 29th. But this person, Gurmeet Singh, was continuously conducting the recce outside the residence and providing minute-to-minute information to the shooters and also to Lawrence Bishnoi that what all is happening outside the residence of Sidhu Moosewala. And even the initial plan of the shooters were to enter into the residence of Sidhu Moosewala and to kill him inside his house. But later on, this plan was dropped when this person has informed all the shooters that there was a heavy deployment of the security and entering in the house is not possible and this would not be a smooth walk. And later on, when the Aam Aadmi Party government has scaled down the security, again the information has been floated to the Lawrence Bishnoi, to Goldie Baran, and later on that information has been passed to the shooters by this person. Just because he was an ex-cop, he knows the nail of the security, he knows inside out details of the security, how it has been scaled and how it has been scaled down as well. So that is the reason. Now the further interrogation will be leading to several other arrests, just because almost more than 30 persons have been arrested in this case.
And we're also given to understand, Amandeep, that there was a weapon that was recovered from his home. Thank you very much, Amandeep, for bringing us all those details. Now, ahead of the Himachal Pradesh elections, the BJP is in full action mode. The BJP is likely to hold a meeting of the Central Election Committee to finalize candidates for the upcoming Himachal Pradesh Assembly elections in the national capital.
Parties have swung into action. The BJP Central Election Committee is likely to meet and finalize the dates for Himachal Pradesh. This comes a day after BJP's MLA Rajiv Bindal chaired a BJP Election Management Committee at the BJP headquarters in Shimla. The Himachal Pradesh BJP's core group is likely to send its recommendation to the BJP Central Election Committee and Parliamentary Board of potential candidates. Congress Party reached 15 October and was due to release its first list of candidates yesterday but held back. Parties are gearing up to announce the candidate list as the process for the nominations papers starts today. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
You are watching Republic TV, and still to come on the Morning Express, Sanjay Raut is to be produced in court. The ED is likely to push for extended custody. And also coming up next, the Defence Minister is on a 4-day visit to Gujarat. He is stated to attend the India-Africa Defence Dialogue.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In fact, he has now been asked to appear before the central agency tomorrow.
आपको लगता है कि हमारे नेताओं को गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे तो आम आदमी पार्टी का प्रचार कमजोर पड़ जाएगा, आम आदमी पार्टी कमजोर हो जाएगी, मगर ये आने वाला समय बताएगा। जेल और बेल के बीच में घूमने वाले एमएलए वो आज आम आदमी पार्टी के एमएलए हैं।
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके, उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave.
PK Bhatt, who was shot dead by terrorists yesterday. Unfortunate news came from the Kashmir Valley.
Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation after the FIR was registered. Interim report has been submitted and found that about 6,500 plus madrasas are illegal in the sense that they are not registered. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In fact, he's now been asked to appear before the central agency tomorrow.
आपको लगता है कि हमारे नेताओं को गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे तो आम आदमी पार्टी का प्रचार कमजोर पड़ जाएगा, आम आदमी पार्टी कमजोर हो जाएगी, मगर ये आने वाला समय बताएगा।
जेल और बेल के बीच में घूमने वाले एमएलए वो आज आम आदमी पार्टी के एमएलए हैं।
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave.
PK Bhatt, who was shot dead by terrorists yesterday. Unfortunate news came from the Kashmir Valley.
Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation after the FIR was registered. Interim report has been submitted and found that about 6,500 plus madrasas are illegal in the sense that they are not registered. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has now been summoned by the Central Bureau of Investigation. In fact, he's now been asked to appear before the central agency tomorrow.
आपको लगता है कि हमारे नेताओं को गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे तो आम आदमी पार्टी का प्रचार कमजोर पड़ जाएगा, आम आदमी पार्टी कमजोर हो जाएगी, मगर ये आने वाला समय बताएगा।
जेल और बेल के बीच में घूमने वाले एमएलए वो आज आम आदमी पार्टी के एमएलए हैं।
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
गुजरात चुनाव को लेके, गुजरात के अंदर प्रचार को लेके उसको रोकने के लिए कल मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार किया जाएगा।
A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave.
And here's a quick recap of the top headlines at 8:30 this morning. The CBI's news tightens in Liquorgate. Kejriwal's deputy Manish Sisodia is summoned, asked to appear at 11 this morning. BJP swings into action mode. Key meeting today in the national capital to strategize over the polls in Himachal Pradesh. The Congress Party's presidential level comedy continues. It's Tharoor versus the chosen Kharge. Sanjay Raut is to be produced in court. The ED is likely to push for extended custody. The Defence Minister is on a 4-day visit to Gujarat. He's slated to attend the India-Africa Defence Dialogue. Welcome back. You're watching the Morning Express. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri, and the Prime Minister will be inaugurating the PM Kisan Sammelan 2022 in Delhi today. Now, the inauguration is scheduled to take place at 6 in the evening at the Indian Agricultural Research Institute. The Prime Minister will also release the PM Kisan funds, which are pegged at around 16,000 crore rupees, and launch the PM Bharatiya Jan Urvarak Pariyojana, One Nation, One Fertilizer and Agri Startup Conflict and Exhibition.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to inaugurate a two-day PM Kisan Samman Sammelan today, which would see participation in Delhi by about 15,000 farmers and 300 agriculture-related startups and about 1 crore farmers from across the country virtually.
Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate the Prime Minister Kisan Samman Sammelan 2022 today under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. The inauguration will take place at Indian Agriculture Research Institute in the capital city, New Delhi. According to official statement, more than 13,000 farmers and around 1,500 agri-startups will be participating in the conference. The statement further said that more than 1 crore farmers from various institutions are also expected to attend the event virtually. Along with the participants, the conference will also witness the participation of researchers, policymakers, and other stakeholders. The statement said that under the scheme, the fertilizer retail shops in the country will be converted into PMKSK in a phased manner. If sources are to be believed, PMKSK will cater to a wide variety of needs of the farmers and provide agri-inputs testing facilities for soil, seeds, fertilizers, and also will provide information regarding various government schemes. During the event, Prime Minister will also launch Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Urvarak Pariyojana, One Nation, One Fertilizer. Under the scheme, Prime Minister will launch Bharat Urea Bags, which will help companies market fertilizers under single brand name Bharat.
Prime Minister is going to dedicate a new kind of fertilizer, a standardized fertilizer with the brand name of Bharat, which would be branded as One Nation, One Fertilizer, with standardization that helps farmers across the country. So the two-day event is going to see participation by over 1 crore farmers and is going to introduce them to the latest and cutting edge in agriculture technology.
While in reflection of the continued commitment of the Prime Minister towards welfare of the farmers, he would also release the 12th installment amount of rupees 16,000 crore under the PM Kisan Yojana through direct benefit transfer. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Now, in what is being seen as a targeted killing incident, a Kashmiri Pandit, Puran Bhatt, was killed by terrorists in Shopian. Now, the final rites of Bhatt were conducted on Sunday, even as protests continue to rage over the killing.
Anger is mounting. Multiple protests are being held. This is Lal Chowk of Srinagar, where protests were held against the targeted killing of Kashmiri Pandit Puran Krishan Bhatt. Hundreds of residents came together to protest.
उसका कसूर क्या है भाई? वो 32 साल से यहीं पर है, वो कभी निकला ही नहीं है, उसकी माइग्रेशन भी नहीं हुई है, उसका कसूर क्या है? छोटे छोटे बच्चे, क्या उस उग्रवादी को ये तरस भी नहीं आया कि उसके छोटे बच्चे हैं? क्या किया उसने कौन सा कसूर है? उसका मुझे जवाब दीजिए। मैं एलजी गवर्नमेंट से भी कहना चाहता हूँ, यहाँ की एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन फेल है, लेकिन मैं बार बार ये कहना चाहता हूँ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से, कश्मीरी हिंदू जो 10 दिन के बाद एक टारगेट किलिंग हो रही है, क्यों हो रही है?
And this isn't a single isolated protest. Throughout the day on Sunday, multiple such protests were seen across Jammu and Kashmir. Candlelight march was held in Srinagar to condole Bhatt's killing.
क्या करें, जिस तरीके से यहाँ पर किलिंग हो रही है, पर्टिकुलरली कश्मीरी पंडित कम्युनिटी के बहुत कम गिने चुने लोग हैं, और पर्टिकुलरली उन लोगों को मारा जा रहा है जो पिछले 32 साल से यहाँ से नहीं निकले हैं, पार्ट एंड पार्सल है सोसाइटी के, साथ में रहते हैं, काम करते हैं साथ में, बिजनेस करते थे वहाँ पर, वहाँ से फ्रूट उठाते थे, लोकल मेजॉरिटी कम्युनिटी के साथियों का फ्रूट लेकर पूरे देश दुनिया में बेचते थे, फिर वापस आके उनको पैसा पहले भी देते थे, आगे भी देते थे। अगर उसको मारा गया है तो इसकी प्रॉपर इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए, क्यों उसको मारा गया, किसने टारगेट किया, किसने मारा है इसको।
Earlier on Sunday, political parties also held protest. Multiple protests, but one voice that seeks zero tolerance against terrorism. Killed on Saturday, Puran Bhatt was the lone breadwinner with 2 school-going children. The loss that Bhatt's wife and children have suffered can never be compensated. But the collective voices are a sign. Targeted killings won't be tolerated. Naya Kashmir wants peace and progress, and there's no place for terror. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
In fact, there's a tweet that's just coming in from Manish Sisodia, even as he's to make his appearance at the CBI headquarters in the national capital at about 11 o'clock this morning. He has said that they are preparing to arrest me by making a completely fake case against me. I was to go to Gujarat for election campaign in the coming days. These people are losing Gujarat badly. Their purpose is to stop me from going to Gujarat election campaign. Now, this is a repeated version that we've heard from the Aam Aadmi Party. They have been maintaining that they believe that Manish Sisodia has been interrogated, and in this particular case, because the Gujarat elections are just round the corner, Manish Sisodia, of course, will be making his way to the CBI headquarters at about 11 o'clock this morning. This is the first time that he's actually being questioned by the CBI in this case. His home as well as his locker, of course, was raided earlier by the CBI, but he's not been questioned so far. The Aam Aadmi Party obviously wanting also to make as much political capital as they can of this. They say that this is a political vendetta that has been unleashed by the centre against Manish Sisodia. So that's a tweet that's just coming in from him. Harsha is reporting on this. I think she's outside Manish Sisodia's residence now. Harsha, this is the common refrain that we've really heard from the Aam Aadmi Party, and Manish Sisodia once again repeating that.
Exactly, Nupur. From the first day onwards, we have seen the line which have been already decided by Aam Aadmi Party leaders every time. Whenever the BJP does the press conference and says that they are responsible, Manish Sisodia, Arvind Kejriwal are responsible for the alleged irregularities in the formation of the New Delhi excise policy. They have done the corruption, and Manish Sisodia is filling the coffers of Arvind Kejriwal. He's the agent of corruption for Arvind Kejriwal. But now, what Aam Aadmi Party has planned, they have planned it very huge. They have planned how political gain they can get in Gujarat from this CBI summoning, because we are getting to know that their bike rally of almost 100 Aam Aadmi Party Karyakartas have also been planned from this Manish Sisodia residence till the CBI headquarters. Nupur, first of all, I would like to give you a sense of the place I'm standing. This is right outside Manish Sisodia residence. The barricades have been put here, Delhi police officials are here, the CRPF forces have been deployed, section 144 has been imposed here. No one is allowed to come and park their vehicles here around the residence of Manish Sisodia. All the bikers, the people, Aam Aadmi Party Karyakartas who will be part of Manish Sisodia's takeaway till CBI, all those bikes have been taken to Aam Aadmi Party office from here. They were right now here. They have been asked to move to party office. So they have planned, we can say, a jashan, the walk of Manish Sisodia till CBI, what all of these Aam Aadmi Party leaders have planned, Nupur, because we are also getting a sense that right now inside Manish Sisodia residence, Saurabh Bhardwaj, Durgesh Pathak, Atishi, Gopal Rai, all Aam Aadmi Party senior leaders are here inside the residence of Manish Sisodia. A meeting is taking place inside the residence of Manish Sisodia, where it is being planned how they can gain what they can gain in Gujarat, the political mileage, the political benefit what they can get from this summoning of CBI, because they are right here to encash the entire this agency summoning which has been done by CBI of Manish Sisodia. So this they have planned it huge today, that a rally will be taken, the meeting will be done, the press conferences will be done. They are trying to prove that BJP is doing this all. They are misusing the agency for Gujarat elections. They know that they are fearing of BJP. They know that they will lose the election. Therefore, now they have targeted Manish Sisodia, Deputy CM. So, Nupur, this is all the planning which Manish Sisodia is doing. You are watching Republic TV. We have to go on a short break, but on the other side of the break, we'll show your updates regarding the Manish Sisodia summoned by CBI today at 11 a.m. From this place, Manish Sisodia will leave for CBI at 11. Stay tuned. Keep watching Republic TV.
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave.
Welcome back. You are watching the Morning Express. Now, parts of Bangalore are submerged once again after there was a heavy downpour that was reported in the city. Now, the downpour, of course, has once again left the city. Poor infrastructure exposed, and we've got Prajwal reporting live on this from Bangalore. Prajwal, this has now become a common sight in Bangalore. Every time there's a little bit of a rainfall, seems like the ones on our screen continue to emerge from the city.
Absolutely, because the BBMP seems to be doing quite a shoddy work over here, and the civic apathy is being exposed due to the torrential downpour that the entire state of Karnataka as well as the city of Bangalore is receiving. Right now, I am on one of the busiest roads in Bangalore, which is the Sankey Road, and today is a Monday morning, and therefore this entire road has been barricaded. Why? Because there is a 10 feet wide pit and also 2 feet depth in the pit, and you can clearly see that this entire road has been barricaded off completely. And going across and looking at how the roads are and what is the condition of the roads over here, we can clearly see that the roads have completely caved in, and we are right now moving to this spot. We are over 50 to 60 meters away from this particular spot over here, and even the pedestrian walk too has been blocked off, forcing the pedestrians to walk on the roads as well. So this is turning out to be a major problem over here. The BBMP has now done a temporary fix to this particular road over here, but the problem over here is we are already seeing cracks even on this particular road as well now, and you can see that the right side of your road has been fixed. There has been sand, some cement, and there has also been stones that has been put across, but this definitely seems to be quite a problem in Bengaluru, and the BBMP needs to come up with a solution, a permanent solution. On this note, we'll quickly slip across into a short break, but more news and updates on the other side on Republic Media Network. Stay tuned.
A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave.
Now, some students of the Delhi University's prestigious Miranda House College have alleged several men climbed the college walls and gates to witness an open Diwali festival on the campus and indulged in catcalling and sexist sloganeering. The students of the prestigious college shared multiple videos on social media of some men trying to breach the perimeter. Let's go across to Piyush Mishra, who's reporting live on this. Piyush, tell us more of what really happened and has action been taken?
Well, if we talk about this video, remember that this video has now gone viral on social media where few men can be seen climbing on trees and they are trying to enter inside the Miranda House College, which comes under Delhi University. And this was happening because Miranda House had to shut down the doors, all the gates had to be shut down because of the excessive crowd, massive crowd during the Diwali Mela. But these men can be seen climbing on tree and climbing on the wall and trying to enter inside the Miranda House. The police have now taken so much cognizance. There is a statement which has also been issued by Miranda House, and for the benefit of our viewers, I would like to read that statement where the Miranda House goes on to say, and I am quoting from that statement, Women's Deployment Cell Miranda House condemns the lawless chaos and harm caused by crowd at the Diwali Mela which held today. We'll have to wait and watch how the police is going to further take the action. FIR has been registered. After this very short break, we will be getting more and more details as this entire thing is becoming a huge controversy. The officials of Miranda House are now seeking answers from the law and order authorities. Stay tuned for more updates.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave.
Here are the headlines at 9 a.m. this morning. CBI news tightens in Liquorgate. Kejriwal's deputy Manish Sisodia summoned, asked to appear at 11 a.m. CBI set to grill Sisodia. AAP swings into huddle mode. Key meet now underway at Sisodia residence. Men climb walls of all-women Miranda House to see Diwali fest. Students allege harassment. BJP swings into action mode. Key meet today in national capital to strategize Himachal polls. Bhadra Kong presidential level comedy continues. It's Tarur versus the chosen Karge. Sanjay Rao to be produced in court. ED likely to push hard for extended custody. Good morning. Thanks for tuning into Republic TV. I'm Nivedna Prabhu and you're watching Live and Breaking. And in our top focus today, we're getting breaking news coming in ahead of the grilling of Manish Sisodia, who's going to be appearing at the CBI at 11 a.m. Kejriwal tweets that nothing was found in Manish's house raid. Nothing was found in the bank locker. The case against them is completely false. He's also said that he had to go to Gujarat for the election campaign, arresting them to stop him. But the election campaign will not stop. Every person of Gujarat is promoting Aam Aadmi Party today. So Kejriwal, of course, reacting over there ahead of Manish Sisodia's appearance at the CBI, which is slated to be at 11 a.m. this morning, where in this particular tweet, he has clearly stated that nothing was found in Manish Sisodia's house raid, nothing was found in the bank locker, and the case against them is completely false. We also have Piyush and Harsha who are continuing to track this big development live with us. I'll come to you, Piyush, first on this particular reaction that is coming in from Arvind Kejriwal right ahead of the fact that Manish Sisodia has been asked to appear at 11 a.m. What are the other details and reactions we're getting in?
Well, right now we are seeing these pictures coming in from the residence of Manish Sisodia, where the congregation of Aam Aadmi Party leaders has started to take place. Leaders like Sanjay Singh Atishi, Saurabh Bhardwaj and many other Aam Aadmi Party workers have started reaching there at Manish Sisodia's residence, and Aam Aadmi Party is now planning to take out a bike rally from Manish Sisodia's residence till CBI headquarters, and it's barely beg your pardon. It's barely a kilometer or 2 kilometers away from Manish Sisodia's residence is the CBI headquarters. So it's going to be a massive political spectacle which Aam Aadmi Party is now trying to show to the people of nation. Aam Aadmi Party is now trying to tell that they are being targeted because they are doing aggressively campaign in the state of Gujarat, and BJP is scared of the growing popularity of Aam Aadmi Party, and that is why Manish Sisodia is now being targeted. Manish Sisodia has in fact repeated the tweets which he had done yesterday, where yesterday also he had mentioned that nothing was found during the raids at his residence in his locker, and also when raids took place in his village, and this entire case is a furgy case, is a fake case, and the BJP-led central government is trying to implicate Aam Aadmi Party leaders because it is scared of the aggressive campaign of Aam Aadmi Party which is taking place in Gujarat. Right now, what we can also tell you is that leaders have started gathering at Manish Sisodia's residence. They will be reaching here at around 11 a.m. and before that preparations have been done here at CBI headquarters. Also, I would ask Bhishma to come with me, and then we'll show you how security has also been beefed up at the right in front of CBI headquarters. Either sides of roads connecting CBI headquarters have now been completely blocked, looking at the massive protest which is expected to be done by Aam Aadmi Party workers. At the same time, BJP is now seeking answers from Manish Sisodia. Arvind Kejriwal yesterday, BJP's national spokesperson Gaurav Bhatia had done a press conference where he called Manish Sisodia collecting agent of Arvind Kejriwal. Though Arvind Kejriwal yesterday had compared Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain with Bhagat Singh and had called them modern age Bhagat Singh. So war of votes continue to take place, but there are some certain questions on which Aam Aadmi Party has not responded so far, which also includes why did the Delhi government had to take back the liquor policy, why it did not follow the recommendations of draft committee, also why waivers were given to liquor vents of around 144 crores, and also earnest money was also waived off. So there are some certain questions which CBI is going to ask from Manish Sisodia. But sources are also telling us that CBI has got crucial information after they made arrest of Vijay Nair, and Vijay Nair has reportedly taken the names of few people, those are very much close to Aam Aadmi Party and also Manish Sisodia, and that is why he is being called here for the investigation. We'll have to wait and watch how the investigation will take place. But Aam Aadmi Party, even before the investigation could take place, is making this entire thing a political campaign where it is trying to send out a clear message to the voters, not only in Gujarat but across the country, that Aam Aadmi Party has been targeted because it is doing good work, doing welfare of the people in not only in Delhi but also in the state of Punjab. Arvind Kejriwal is projecting Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia as modern age Bhagat Singh. Manish Sisodia is giving himself clean chit, saying this is a fake case. The question now again rises about the liquor policy, in which there were a lot of irregularities, a lot of violation was also found in that particular excise policy. So far, BJP is now asking questions from Aam Aadmi Party, but Aam Aadmi Party has not reacted, has not responded to the basic questions so far, and it continues to say that it is an entirely fake case, and Manish Sisodia has nothing to do with this excise policy scam.
Right, Piyush, of course, you're pointing out really important details over there. We'll be, continuing to have you on this particular story. But cutting across to Harsha now. Harsha, give us a sense of what we can expect today. We're also understanding that there's a key meet underway at Manish Sisodia's house. Who are the leaders who are present there? And also we understand he will also be going to Rajghat before his appearance at 11 at the CBI.
Exactly, a lot of buzz and movement outside the residence of Manish Sisodia. I would like to show you the visuals here because clearly there are a lot of movement is already here. All the vehicles of the senior Aam Aadmi Party leaders are already inside the barricade. Anytime soon, Manish Sisodia is expected to leave from his residence with the senior Aam Aadmi Party leaders for Rajghat, because we are getting to know that they are already quoting it is the Ladai of Satyagrah. They're stating it as a Satyagrah for themselves, for the upliftment of Delhi people, and they're also stating it that the misuse of agency is being done by BJP out of political vendetta. As you can clearly see, a lot of police deployment has been heightened. The security have been increased here outside the residence of Manish Sisodia. All the senior Aam Aadmi Party leaders, be it Durgesh Pathak, Gopal Rai, Atishi, Saurabh Bhardwaj, Sanjay Singh, are all inside the residence of Manish Sisodia. A very crucial meeting is happening inside the residence of Manish Sisodia, as anytime soon they will leave for Rajghat, and then from Rajghat Manish Sisodia will come back to his residence, and then a bike rally, a massive bike protest is being planned by Aam Aadmi Party leaders, Aam Aadmi Party supporters, sympathizers, Karyakartas, all are gathering here outside the residence of Manish Sisodia. A bike rally of almost 100 to 200 Karyakartas will go along with Manish Sisodia from Manish Sisodia's residence to the CBI headquarters. So a lot of movement is expected here because Aam Aadmi Party is continuously saying that this is the witch hunt which is being done by BJP leaders. They are often continuously saying that Aam Aadmi Party has done the corruption in the New Delhi excise policy. Rather, they are misusing the agency because they are fearing that they are losing in the poll-bound Gujarat state, and therefore this all misuse of agency is being done. Also, I would like to show you, because section 144 has been imposed outside the residents of Manish Sisodia continuously. The bikers, the supporters, sympathizers are reaching here. Therefore, a lot of deployment is being done. Barricades have been put here, placed here outside the residence of Manish Sisodia. From here, almost 2 to 3 kilometers is the residence, is the CBI headquarters, still where the bike rally will be taking place. But a lot of security officials are here because anytime soon, the Aam Aadmi Party leaders will leave from residence of Manish Sisodia till Rajghat, because they are stating that first they will go to Rajghat, pray in front of Gandhi Pratima, because this is the fight for Satyagrah, and after that Manish Sisodia will reach for CBI headquarters. But one thing to note, that after the arrest of Vijay Nair and Abhishek Boinpalli was made by CBI, a lot of massive leads and details CBI has got after the interrogation from Abhishek Boinpalli and Vijay Nair. The leads, the document, the cyber evidences, all they have collected, and they have got to know a massive money laundering and and the framing of Delhi excise policy, much of the irregularities has been done, and this is equivalent to the crime which has been done, because a bribe was included, the blacklisted companies were given the tenders, and Abhishek Boinpalli, who is associated a liquor businessman in Hyderabad, how is he associated? The nexus of 4 to 5 liquor middlemen is involved here, and how they have given the tenders and the licenses to the blacklisted company. As I'm showing you continuously, the vehicles are continuously coming here at the residence of Manish Sisodia. So these are the kind of jeep which have been planned, and Manish Sisodia will leave in this jeep from here to Rajghat. So this kind of protest is being planned in national capital, from the residence of Manish Sisodia till Rajghat, then to CBI headquarters. They have already planned. They are going to do a massive protest, huge supporters, sympathizers and karyakartas will gather, and they will protest against BJP. So these are the visuals which are coming in from outside the residence of Manish Sisodia, because today is a very important day. On one side, BJP is continuously targeting Aam Aadmi Party, stating that Aam Aadmi Party is saying that Manish Sisodia is the freedom fighter Bhagat Singh, and Aam Aadmi Party is stating that it is the second term of freedom struggle. Though they are involved in the corruption, Manish Sisodia is the corruption agent of Arvind Kejriwal, who is filling the coffers of Arvind Kejriwal. So these are the statements being made by both the parties, but lot of movement here outside the residence of Manish Sisodia. Shortly, all the leaders will leave from here to Rajghat. Back to you.
Right, Harsha, thank you for getting us those details. Continue to stay with us. Of course, we have reactions coming in as well ahead of Manish Sisodia asked to be appearing at the CBI. Let's listen in.
मुलाकात नहीं करने देंगे एक स्वास्थ्य मंत्री से, दिल्ली के उप मुख्यमंत्री से। देखिए इतनी पुलिस फोर्स क्यों लगा रखी है? गुजरात में हार से इस तरह से बौखलाए हुए हैं, डरे हुए हैं कि जिस मनीष सिसोदिया के खिलाफ 14 घंटे सीबीआई ने जांच की, कुछ नहीं निकला, न कोई बेनामी संपत्ति, न 1 रुपए की बरामदगी। लाकर में गए तो बच्चे का झुंझुना लेके आए। गुजरात का इलेक्शन है, हार का डर है, मनीष सिसोदिया का कार्यक्रम नहीं लगने पाया, इसलिए गिरफ्तार कर रहे हो।
सिसोदिया ने ट्वीट किया कि फर्जी केस बनाने की तैयारी,
पूरी तरीके से फर्जी, पूरी तरीके से फर्जी। नो करप्शन, सिर्फ इलेक्शन, यही मामला है और कुछ नहीं। आप देख नहीं रही है नजारा, देख लीजिए इनकी तानाशाही। देश की राजधानी है दिल्ली, मैं यहां का सांसद हूं, अपने शिक्षा मंत्री से मिलने नहीं जा सकता, ये तानाशाही है इनकी।
Well, we're also getting the latest visuals over here from outside Manish Sisodia's residence in New Delhi. This, of course, you can see Manish Sisodia as well on your screens. This is the exclusive visuals that we're getting for you on Republic TV. This is, of course, right ahead of his summon at the CBI at 11 a.m. Like Harsha was also pointing out, of course, outside his residence, 144 section has been imposed. And on the other hand, heavy security has also been deployed. But these are the visuals that we're getting in exclusive right here on Republic TV, where, of course, he's now over there along with other Aam Aadmi Party members as well, where Harsha also pointed out that they will be going to Rajghat first before his appearance at the CBI. But those are those first visuals that we're getting in of the Deputy CM Manish Sisodia right there on our screens before he is going to be making that appearance at the CBI office at 11 a.m. So those are the latest visuals that we're getting in. For more on this, we're joined in by Harsha once again. Harsha, of course, we're getting those exclusive visuals over there of Manish Sisodia leaving his residence. You also pointed out a little earlier that he will be first going to Rajghat and then, of course, for his appearance at 11 a.m. But give us the latest, what is a sense of what is happening there right now? Who else is over there outside his residence along with him?
Yes, I'd like to give you the sense of the visuals here because a lot of movement is here happening here outside the residence of Manish Sisodia. A lot of security deployment, and outside also 2 buses have been placed here because a lot of protesters have been. The news is that a lot of protesters will be coming here outside the residence of Manish Sisodia, and for them the security has been enhanced. Anytime soon the vehicles are already inside Manish Sisodia residence. Anytime soon, all the MLAs, be it Saurabh Bhardwaj, Atishi, Gopal Rai, so all will.
सर, आज आप जा रहे हैं, सीबीआई पूछताछ आपसे करेगी, क्या आपकी प्रतिक्रिया?
इन लोगों ने आज मुझे सीबीआई में बुलाया है। इनकी तैयारी अब मुझको गिरफ्तार करने की है। इन्होंने पहले सीबीआई रेड कराई मेरे इस घर में, इनको उसमें कुछ नहीं मिला, 1 पैसे का कोई भ्रष्टाचार नहीं मिला इनको मेरे घर में। उसके बाद इन्होंने मेरे बैंक लॉकर की जांच कराई, बैंक लॉकर छाने सीबीआई ने, वहाँ पे इनको कुछ नहीं मिला। इनको लग रहा था वहाँ कोई प्रॉपर्टी के दस्तावेज मिलेंगे, कैश मिलेगा, गोल्ड मिलेगा, वहाँ कुछ नहीं मिला। मेरे बैंक लॉकर में कुछ नहीं मिला। इन्होंने मेरे गांव में जाके पूछताछ की कि वहाँ हो सकता है ज़मीनें खरीदी हों, खूब पूछताछ की इन्होंने, वहाँ भी कुछ नहीं मिला। इनको भी पता है कि ये पूरा केस फर्जी है। ये पूरा केस मेरे खिलाफ जो चलाया जा रहा है ये पूरा फर्जी केस है। इनका मकसद मुझे गिरफ्तार करके जेल में डालना है ताकि मैं गुजरात न जा सकूं। गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी बुरी तरह से हार रही है और इसीलिए ये डरी हुई है। इसीलिए आज ये मुझको भी गुजरात जाने से रोकना चाहती है। गुजरात में मैं पिछले दिनों जब जब गया हूँ, मैंने वहाँ के स्कूलों की हालत ख़राब देखी है, मैंने वहाँ अस्पतालों की हालत ख़राब देखी है, मैंने नौजवानों को नौकरी के लिए बिलखते हुए देखा है, मैंने वहाँ लोगों की बहुत बुरी हालत देखी है गुजरात में। और आज गुजरात में लोगों को उम्मीद है अरविंद केजरीवाल जी से। आज लोगों को हमने जाके कहा है गुजरात में कि गुजरात में आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार बनाओ, आपके भी स्कूल दिल्ली के स्कूलों की तरह अच्छे होंगे, आपके भी अस्पताल दिल्ली के अस्पतालों की तरह अच्छे होंगे, आपके यहाँ भी बिजली के बिल ज़ीरो आएंगे, आपके यहाँ भी ईमानदारी से नौकरियाँ लगेंगी और लगेंगी। तो ये आज हमने गुजरात में कहा है और गुजरात के लोगों को इस पर भरोसा है। इसीलिए बीजेपी बुरी तरह से हार रही है और ये मुझे जेल में डाल के रखना चाहते हैं। मेरे खिलाफ ना कुछ निकला ना कुछ निकलेगा और अब मुझे जेल में भी डाल देंगे तब भी। आज गुजरात का बच्चा बच्चा चुनाव लड़ रहा है, आज गुजरात का आम आदमी चुनाव लड़ रहा है। इस बार गुजरात का चुनाव गुजरात के लोग एक आंदोलन की तरह, शिक्षा के आंदोलन, स्वास्थ्य के आंदोलन, बिजली के आंदोलन की तरह लड़ रहे हैं। मुझे जेल में डालने से ये गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हार को बचा नहीं पाएंगे।
जैसे आप चुनाव में जाते हैं, आज भी उसी तरीके से लग रहा था कि आपको विदा कर रहे हैं परिवार वाले, क्योंकि और भगत सिंह कहा आपको, खुद मुख्यमंत्री ने भगत सिंह कहा।
ये मेरे परिवार का प्यार है, मेरे परिवार का मेरे ऊपर आशीर्वाद है कि मैं ईमानदारी से काम करता हूँ, कट्टर ईमानदारी, कट्टर देशभक्ति से काम करता हूँ। और भगत सिंह जी के रास्ते पे चलते हुए हमने स्कूल बनाए हैं, अस्पताल बनाए हैं, ईमानदारी से काम किया है। ये गुजरात को नहीं बचा पाएंगे, गुजरात में भी अब यही काम है।
सर, आपको लगता है कि आप गिरफ्तारी भी कर सकते हैं लोग?
इनकी पूरी तैयारी है।
Well, that was Manish Sisodia's first reaction ahead of his summon at 11 at CBI. He went on to say that there is a plan to arrest him, and he's clearly hitting out at the BJP. Is that by also stating that this is a plan, a political vendetta against him ahead of the Gujarat elections. Harsha, I'll come to you once again. This is the first reaction that we're getting in from Manish Sisodia. But what else can you tell us about that? In fact, he had also, written that letter to the Lieutenant Governor as well, where he was pointing out about other aspects of crime in Delhi as well. So how do you really view this thing? His reaction coming in, where he's hitting out at the BJP, clearly saying that right ahead of the Gujarat elections, this is just a way to kind of, frame him.
Now you are showing the visuals at all the cavalcade of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders is reaching here. Manish Sisodia, you can see here the flag. You can see here Manish Sisodia. You can reach here. Manish Sisodia, can you say something? So you are seeing Gopal Rai, Saurabh Bhardwaj, Sanjay Singh, Atishi, Manish Sisodia, and you are seeing all the leaders here. And clearly this is a jeep, and this is all the cavalcade of Aam Aadmi Party leaders who have left from Manish Sisodia's residence. We are showing the visuals from outside Manish Sisodia's residence. We are leaving from here towards Rajghat, and we will try to speak to them. We are continuously trying to get a word from them, but yes, they are not speaking anything. Manisha. So these are the visuals. Gopal Rai, Atishi, Saurabh Bhardwaj, Jarnail Singh MLA, and the entire cavalcade leaves from Manish Sisodia's residence for Rajghat. Rajghat is just 10 minutes away from Manish Sisodia's residence, and yes, we are just going there. We'll try to follow them till Rajghat. So these are the visuals. Manish Sisodia left for Rajghat. All the Aam Aadmi Party senior leaders along with Manish Sisodia going for Rajghat, and from Rajghat they'll come back to Sisodia's residence, and from there straight to CBI headquarters. A lot of massive protest has been planned by Aam Aadmi Party ahead of CBI summoning and questioning and interrogation of Manish Sisodia by CBI. So these are the visuals we are showing you from National Capital outside. Lot of security deployment. Section 144 has been imposed, so clearly Aam Aadmi Party has already planned how they can get political mileage out of this interrogation and questioning. Back to you.
Harsha, also talking about, Harsha, stay with us. We'll cut across to Piyush, who's also joining us. Piyush, of course, Manish Sisodia has reacted about this, but just to draw attention to this entire case, where does the investigation stand currently? And if you could talk to us about the role, the allegation of, Manish Sisodia in this entire case ahead of his appearance at CBI today at 11.
Well, if we talk about the involvement of Manish Sisodia, what we are learning is that Manish Sisodia is the same person who had, supervised the formulation of excise policy in Delhi. In fact, he's the one who was the charge of implementing and also regulating the policy in national capital. Delhi Lieutenant Governor, when he found irregularities in all these in liquor policy in Delhi, he recommended for the CBI probe. So far, there are a series of allegations on Arvind Kejriwal as to why the Delhi government had to waive off around 144 crore of the liquor vents. Also, earnest money was waived off of rupees 30 crore. Kickbacks were received to Aam Aadmi Party via some indirect channels, and the companies who were already blacklisted, they were given a priority when the licenses were being distributed. So there are multiple allegations. Those are there on Manish Sisodia, and right now we are seeing the pictures coming in from Manish Sisodia's residence, where he is he along with other leaders of Aam Aadmi Party has just left for Rajghat. There they are going to offer prayers, and from Rajghat all the leaders along with scores of Aam Aadmi Party workers are expected to reach here at CBI headquarters. When he reaches here, CBI is going to ask him about the irregularities in Delhi excise policy. Also, what we are learning is that Vijay Nair, who is the communication strategist of Aam Aadmi Party, has revealed few names. So there could be some sort of confrontation with the kind of evidences, with the kind of things those have been those have come out so far from the investigation. So as of now, Aam Aadmi Party continues to claim witch hunt, but BJP is now demanding answers from Aam Aadmi Party. After this very short break, we will be getting more details as Aam Aadmi Party leaders are heading to Rajghat, and from there they are expected to reach here at CBI headquarters at around 11 am. Stay tuned for more updates.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave.
And straight away cutting across to these visuals coming in of the protest being staged by the AAP leaders. This, of course, ahead of Manish Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, who will be grilled by the Central Bureau of Investigation in connection with the liquor scam. So these are the visuals in which you can see a show of strength by the AAP leaders who are staging a protest outside the AAP office. We'll go across to our reporters as well who are tracking all the updates on this big story. Remember, Sisodia, just ahead of being grilled, also addressed the media, saying that it is all a witch hunt and that it is all an attempt to stop the AAP leaders from campaigning ahead of Gujarat polls. Harsha is reporting live. Harsha, take us through the latest updates that you're picking up.
Yes. I'll show you the visuals from here. I'm just a few meters away from our office, but you can clearly see on one side there's a cavalcade of Manish Sisodia, and on the other, lot of crowd and lot of protesters, sympathizers of Aam Party. And here is the Manish Sisodia's vehicle. We'll show you. Here you can see it is Manish Sisodia vehicle as he is reaching Aam Party office. All the MLAs, Karyakartas, supporters, sympathizers all with Manish Sisodia. We are continuously giving you the visuals of Manish Sisodia, who along with other Aam Aadmi Party MLAs have reached at Aam Aadmi Party office, and here lot of Karyakartas and supporters with flags in their hand can be seen outside Aam Aadmi Party office. So this is the kind of protest which is planned today by Aam Aadmi Party leaders ahead of CBI interrogation of Manish Sisodia. आपको लगता है ये भगत सिंह है क्योंकि इन पर करप्शन के चार्जेस?
ये गलत कर रहे हैं मनीष सिसोदिया को फंसाने के लिए। ये प्लानिंग सिर्फ गुजरात को देखते हुए करने चाहिए। ये चाहते हैं किसी तरह गुजरात इलेक्शन खराब किया जाए। ये सिर्फ इल्जाम पे इल्जाम लगा रहे हैं, साबित नहीं कर पा रहे। ये
आने वाले एमसीडी चुनाव में हम नरेंद्र मोदी को दिखा देंगे।
बीजेपी ने तो कह दिया इतना पैसा भरा इन्होंने अरविंद केजरीवाल की पॉकेट में सिर्फ करप्शन कर करके
इनको मनीष सिसोदिया जी के अकाउंट में झुंझुना मिला है। करप्शन करने से इनको झुंझुना मिला है। ये ऐसी बदनाम करते हैं आम आदमी पार्टी के नेताओं को।
सीबीआई से डर है क्या जो इतना?
सीबीआई से कोई डर नहीं है। ये हमारे समर्थन है, हमारे नेता के प्रति हमारे समर्थन है। हम आम आदमी पार्टी, हम मनीष सिसोदिया जी के साथ हैं। हम गलत काम नहीं होने देंगे। हम
These are the visuals from outside Aam Aadmi Party office. As we show you the visuals, lot of crowd here have gathered outside Aam Aadmi Party office as Manish Sisodia reaches here. The sloganeering continues here. All the other Aam Aadmi Party MLAs also here, for whom the sloganeering is being done. But the Aam Aadmi Party supporters are clearly stating that they are not afraid of CBI. BJP is misusing the agency, and now we are sure.
ये ऑटो बाहर निकालो, ये ऑटो बाहर।
क्या सीबीआई इंटरोगेशन करेगी? डरते हैं क्या?
हम कोई नहीं डरते जी। अब सबको पता है मनीष सिसोदिया ने दिल्ली के लिए क्या किया है, कितने लोगों, कितने बच्चों का भविष्य उनके साथ जुड़ा हुआ है, कितने लोगों का उन्होंने भविष्य बनाया है। इनका तो रोज का यही काम है। सीबीआई, कभी ईडी, कभी सत्येंद्र जैन, अभी ये केजरीवाल जी पे भी आरोप लगा।
अगर डर नहीं है तो इतनी सारे सपोर्टर को क्यों खड़ा किया है?
नहीं, ये तो अपने आप आए हैं। जब आदमी का पता चलता है कि हमारा कोई अच्छा आदमी अरेस्ट होने जा रहा है या उसके साथ गलत हो रहा है, तो हम तो सड़कों पे आएंगे ही। सभी आएंगे, अपने आप आए।
These are the visuals we are showing you. आप लोगों को लगता है कोई डर है इसीलिए इतने लोग?
हम आम आदमी पार्टी के, दिल्ली के जनता है, आम आदमी पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता है। मोदी सरकार अरविंद केजरीवाल सरकार को हटाना चाहती है। उनका एक ही मकसद है।
अगर कुछ किया नहीं तो डर किस बात का?
हमें कोई डर नहीं है। हम आए क्या कार्रवाई करो। हम तो ये कहते हैं कि बीजेपी वालों पे, कांग्रेस वालों पे ईडी क्यों नहीं बैठती, आम आदमी पार्टी वालों पे क्यों बैठती है?
We are showing you visuals. Lot of women, men, all the people from all parts of the Delhi are gathered here, who are the sympathizers of Manish Sisodia. As we show you the sloganeering here continues. All the Karyakartas want to have one glimpse of Manish Sisodia. They are saying they are with Manish Sisodia. भाई साहब, ये क्या है? आज सीबीआई ने पूछताछ के लिए बुलाया है, लेकिन आप लोगों ने भीड़ इकट्ठा कर ली है।
हमारा नहीं कि ये उनकी सपोर्ट में आए। हम नाजायज बुलाया, उनको जायज नहीं बुलाया।
उन्होंने तो कहा कि वो कोऑपरेट करेंगे सीबीआई के साथ।
कोऑपरेट ही कर रहे हैं, रोड खाली किया हुआ, और क्या करें?
दिल्ली की ट्रैफिक व्यवस्था को ध्वस्त कर।
कहाँ ध्वस्त हुई है? दिखाइए। कोई ध्वस्त नहीं हुई। ये बीजेपी का सब गेम प्लान है। हम लोग कुछ नहीं करते, बहुत शांति से मनीष जी के साथ जाएंगे जहाँ वो जाएंगे। बस हमारा एम यही है।
अच्छा, एक बात जो लगातार दिल्ली शराब के जो एक्साइज पॉलिसी है उसको लेके कही जा रही है।
शराब की बात नहीं है अभी मैडम, अभी तो ये मनीष सिसोदिया जी की बात चल रही है। अभी शराब की बात नहीं है।
सिसोदिया जी के घर पे पहले रेड की, आज पूछताछ के लिए बुलाया। पूछताछ से क्या?
सत्येंद्र जी के तो घर रेड करी थी, उनको भी तो बंद कर दिया। उनके खिलाफ कोई सबूत नहीं मिला।
ऐसा क्यों लगता है आम आदमी पार्टी नेताओं को कि आज अरेस्टिंग हो जाएगी? आज तो कल पूछताछ के लिए बुलाया।
इनका काम ही यही है। बीजेपी वालों का काम ही यही है। बीजेपी का काम ही है। आज अरेस्ट होंगे तो सभी अरेस्ट होंगे। सिसोदिया जी अकेले नहीं जाएंगे, हम सब जाएंगे। लाखों के लोग।
तो क्या यहाँ से आप सब लोग सीबीआई तक जाएंगे?
सब सीबीआई तक जाएंगे, सिसोदिया जी के पीछे पीछे।
चलो कोई बात नहीं, हम भी बंद होने के लिए तैयार है। जब उन्होंने गलती करी तो हमने भी गलती करी।
Well, we'll cut across to these live visuals as well coming in which Sisodia, the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, can be seen ahead of him being quizzed by the CBI at 11 a.m. So in a short while from now, in roughly about 2.5 hours, he will be quizzed by the CBI in connection with the liquor scam. He is there at the CBI office. He'll be grilled by the CBI in connection with the liquor scam. Remember, he's also put out several tweets since early morning how he's claimed there is a political vendetta as far as him being quizzed by the CBI, saying that nothing has been found in the searches that were carried out at his residence by the central agencies. Harsha continues to be with us. Harsha, that's a mega show of strength by the AAP workers. Take us through all the live updates you're picking up.
Yeah, we are continuously trying to show you visuals and showing some glance of at least Manish Sisodia, because he has reached here along with Durgesh Pathak, Sanjay Singh Atishi, Saurabh Bhardwaj and others. But these visuals from Aam Aadmi Party office, where they are now flowering, now they are showering flowers and petals on Manish Sisodia. We'll try to go. I'll ask my camera person Manish to go further. We'll try to see if we get some visual of Manish Sisodia, because the visual where the showering of flowers is being done, that is exactly the place where Manish Sisodia is standing. Lot of crowd of supporters and sympathizers. Have gathered here outside Aam Aadmi Party office, and the supporters are clearly stating that they will go to CBI. Ma'am, ये फूल किसके लिए लेके आई हैं? मैम, ये फूल आप लोग किसके लिए?
मनीष सिसोदिया के लिए।
तो आप लोग क्या CBI तक जाने वाले हैं?
हाँ जी।
क्या आपको लगता है, आपको क्यों लगता है कि गलत बुला रहे हैं क्वेश्चनिंग के लिए?
बुला रहे हैं, उन्होंने हमेशा अच्छा काम किया है।
क्यों ऐसा लगता है आपको, क्यों लग रहा है?
क्यों हम देख रहे हैं वो काम कर रहे हैं, उनका काम दिख रहा है हमें।
उनके घर पे रेड हुई थी, पूछताछ हुई थी,
कुछ नहीं निकला, कोई चीज नहीं निकली।
तो सवाल जवाब से डर कैसा?
क्यों डर रहे हैं? डरने की तो बात ही नहीं है।
अभी तो कह रहे हैं डरना नहीं है, सवाल जवाब के लिए तो बुलाया है।
सर फेस तो कर ही रहे हैं, कोई नहीं डर रहा, फेस कर रहे हैं वो। डरने की बात नहीं है इसमें, न वो डर रहे हैं। अच्छा, तो ये
पुष्पों की वर्षा करेंगे आप लोग मनीष सिसोदिया?
जी जी।
क्यों, इसका मतलब क्या है?
उनको हक है, उनका करते अच्छा
काम जो इतने सालों में किया है शिक्षा में, उनके लिए ये फूल के है जी। और जो काम करते हैं उन्हीं के पीछे लगे रहते हैं, बीजेपी वाले कुछ नहीं करते हैं। मैं आपको गारंटी देता हूँ, जो उनके मंत्री में एक भी भ्रष्ट नेता नहीं है। मुझे इतना सवाल बता दीजिए, आपको ही पता है, आप तो मीडिया वाले, एक तो होगा पूरे हिंदुस्तान के अंदर किसी को गिरफ्तार किया आज तक? नहीं, क्यों नहीं किया? रीजन बताएं। वो उनके सब दूध के दूल्हे हैं।
लोग कहना चाह रहे कि अन्याय हुआ है, गलत हो रहा है।
जितने भी कार्यकर्ता या नेता है, सारे के सारे क्या दूध के दूल्हे राजा हरिश्चंद्र हैं क्या वो लोग?
So we are showing you the visuals from Aam Aadmi Party office of so many supporters here. Some have taken sarafa, some have taken sarafa on their head, and they are now supporting Manish Sisodia, clearly stating that BJP is misusing the central agency CBI and ED. And today, by showering petals and showering flowers on Manish Sisodia, they are giving him Ashirwad. They are giving Manish Sisodia Ashirwad. What the females here, the female supporters of Aam Aadmi Party, what they're stating is this only. A lot of placards can also be seen here of Bhagat Singh, because yesterday we saw how Arvind Kejriwal compared Manish Sisodia to freedom fighter Bhagat Singh. BJP got offended by this and clearly said that this is the wrong how Manish Sisodia is compared to Bhagat Singh, when Manish Sisodia is involved in the corruption scam in the alleged Delhi liquor and the alleged irregularities and corruption done in Delhi liquor excise policy. So these are the posters, placards, sloganeering being done here, because Manish Sisodia has reached here. He's amongst his supporters, amongst his sympathizers, and now Manish Sisodia is speaking on the dais. We can hear him we can hear Manish Sisodia as he speaks from the dais to his supporters.
चलो 7 साल से अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने दिल्ली में काम करके दिखाया, आज पंजाब में काम करके दिखा रही है आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार। और दिल्ली और पंजाब से प्रेरणा लेके आज गुजरात के एक वोटर के मन में, गुजरात के बच्चे के मन में ये उम्मीद लगी है कि अगर दिल्ली के स्कूल अच्छे हो सकते हैं तो गुजरात के स्कूल भी अच्छे हो सकते हैं। गुजरात के एक आदमी के मन में आंदोलन जगा है कि अगर दिल्ली और पंजाब के अस्पताल अच्छे हो सकते हैं तो गुजरात के सरकारी अस्पताल भी अच्छे हो सकते हैं। गुजरात के बच्चे के मन में ये उम्मीद जगी है कि अगर दिल्ली के स्कूल अच्छे हो सकते हैं तो गुजरात के स्कूल भी अच्छे हो सकते हैं। गुजरात के एक आदमी के मन में आंदोलन जगा है कि अगर दिल्ली और पंजाब के अस्पताल अच्छे हो सकते हैं तो गुजरात के सरकारी अस्पताल भी अच्छे हो सकते हैं। आज गुजरात में आप सबकी मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई, इतनी बड़ी संख्या में आप यहाँ पे आए हैं। आज गुजरात में लोग बहुत उम्मीद से आम आदमी पार्टी को देख रहे हैं। ये लोग मुझे जेल में डालने की तैयारी इसीलिए कर रहे हैं क्योंकि इनको लगता है कि मैं गुजरात जाऊंगा तो लोगों के स्कूल बनने की उम्मीद और मजबूत होगी। मैं जब गुजरात गया, गुजरात के लोगों ने मुझसे यही कहा कि दिल्ली की तरह हमारे भी स्कूल बनवा देना। हम इस बार आम आदमी पार्टी को सरकार बनवाएंगे, आम आदमी पार्टी को वोट देने वाले हैं। गुजरात में भारतीय जनता पार्टी बुरी तरह से हार रही है और आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार बनने वाली है। इसीलिए बीजेपी घबरा गई है, इसीलिए बीजेपी डर गई है और इसीलिए झूठे केस मेरे ऊपर करवा के मुझको जेल में डालना चाहती है। लेकिन मैं आज आपको ये कहना चाहता हूं कि हम लोग भगत सिंह के लोग हैं, हम जेल जाने से नहीं डरते। आजादी के लिए 20-20 साल के लड़कों ने कुर्बानी दी थी। देश आज फिर कुर्बानी मांग रहा है। देश आज फिर ऐसा सीना मांग रहा है जो जेल जाने से ना डरे और हमें गर्व है कि हमको जेल जाने से नहीं डरता। आज इनकी तैयारी मुझको जेल में डालने की है। इन्होंने CBI भेज के मेरे घर पे रेड कराई, मेरे घर से कुछ नहीं निकला, आप सब जानते हैं। इन्होंने मेरे बैंक लॉकर तलाश लिए, बैंक लॉकर में से कुछ नहीं निकला, आप सब जानते हैं। इन्होंने मेरे गांव में जाके ढूंढा कि कहीं कोई जमीन खरीद रखी होगी, परिवार में कुछ खरीद रखा होगा, कुछ नहीं निकला, सब जानते हैं। इसलिए अब इनकी तैयारी है कि मुझे जेल में डाल दें। मैं इनकी जेल में डालने से नहीं डरता, इनकी CBI और ED से नहीं डरता। मैं जानता हूं कि देश कुर्बानी मांग रहा है और हम कुर्बानी देने के लिए तैयार हैं। आज मैं आप सबसे भी कहना चाहता हूं, इसका अफसोस मत करना। अगर मैं जेल चला जाऊं तो अफसोस मत करना, गर्व करना। हमारे लिए गर्व की बात है कि हमें देश के लिए कुर्बानी देने का अवसर आया है। हम कुर्बानी से पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। मैं यहां से अभी राजघाट जाऊंगा, पूज्य बापूजी की समाधि पर श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करूंगा। देश के लिए गांधी जी भी जेल गए थे, देश के लिए भगत सिंह ने भी फांसी खाई थी। मैं अभी यहाँ से जाऊंगा, अच्छा लगेगा, आप सब लोग भी चलेंगे तो सब लोग, लेकिन पूरा डिसिप्लिन बना के रखेंगे। भारत माता की इंकलाब, वंदे, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आम आदमी पार्टी का एक
So, as you heard there, it was Manish Sisodia there calling it again a witch hunt against him. Now, remember, among the major allegations that Sisodia is facing are he's accused number 1 in the CBI FIR that has been filed against him. He's accused of extending undue favors to the licensees. It's also alleged irregularities and modifications to the excise policy. So, a lot of grave allegations that Manish Sisodia is facing. He will be shortly grilled by the CBI in connection with the liquor scam. It's also being said that he's likely to be grilled on issuing licenses to the blacklisted companies, taking decisions without approval of the Delhi LG, decisions which resulted in windfall gains to the licensees, as well as decisions which resulted in revenue loss to the exchequer. So a lot of allegations there that Sisodia is facing at this point, and Sisodia and the AAP leaders at large calling it all a political vendetta by the central agencies ahead of Gujarat polls. We'll slip into a very short break, but on the other side, we'll continue with the live coverage as AAP Showdown continues in the national capital.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 private university for the 10th year by India Today, a testimony to Amity's world-class education whilst imbibing values and sanskars in students.
Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes.
Thanks for staying tuned, tracking the big story coming in from the national capital. Manish Sisodia, who's all set to be quizzed by the Central Bureau of Investigation at 11 a.m. Those are the visuals coming in right now of the mega show of strength by the AAP workers. Madhurima joining us live, taking us through all those updates. Madhurima, take us through all the action happening in the national capital. All right, we'll try and connect with Madhurima again, but as you can see, these are the visuals coming in from the national capital, a mega show of strength by the AAP leaders, and Manish Sisodia there, who is with his party workers, staging a protest and a mega show of strength. It can be seen as a mega show of strength in the national capital just ahead of Sisodia being quizzed by the CBI in connection with the liquor scam, the Delhi excise policy, which has now been rolled back. He faces several grave allegations pertaining to irregularities and modifications to the excise, now rolled back excise policy by the Delhi government. He's likely to be grilled on issuing licenses to the blacklisted companies, taking decisions without the approval of the Delhi Lieutenant Governor. The decisions which resulted in windfall gains to the licensees, as well as decisions which resulted in revenue loss to the exchequer. So unilateral decisions which allegedly were taken by the Delhi government, which resulted in loss to the Delhi government. And he's accused of extending undue favors to the licensees as well. As you can see, those are the visuals in which Sisodia can be seen with the AAP workers just ahead of being grilled by the Central Bureau of Investigation. He will be grilled in a short while from now at 11 a.m. And we'll slip into a very short break for now, but on the other side, we'll continue with a live coverage, all the action that's taking place in the national capital ahead of Sisodia being grilled by the CBI.
The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time.
Visuals from National Capital where Manish Sisodia is summoned today by CBI. We are following the cavalcade of Manish Sisodia and other leaders as they move towards Rajghat, showing you the visuals from Aam Aadmi Party office directly towards Rajghat as the massive bike sympathizers, supporters and bike rally could be seen from Aam Aadmi Party office moving towards Rajghat, and then we'll go towards CBI. So this is a huge and massive protest which is being done by Manish Sisodia ahead of interrogation by CBI. So you are watching Republic TV, and on Republic TV are showing you all the lives and all the breakings and all the massive action here in National Capital. As we have to go on a short break, stay tuned with us. We'll be right back after a short break, and on the other side of the story, we show you what we are getting from Rajghat as Manish Sisodia shortly will reach Rajghat. Stay tuned with us. Keep watching Republic TV.
A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the corners of Lutyens? India's biggest news media conclave. Will new tech change the game for news? India's biggest news media conclave. News media is evolving. The mediums are expanding. The opportunities are plenty. It is time to put the focus on what is the future of news media. India's biggest news federation brings you India's biggest news media conclave. A billion homes, a million stories. India's biggest news media conclave. The faces that matter. The most compelling conversations. The issues never discussed before. India's biggest news media conclave. Can Indian news be contained to the
Good morning and welcome. You are watching Live and Breaking on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri and we are bringing you our continuous broadcast of the showdown that is currently all in Delhi, even as Manish Sisodia is making his way to the CBI's office in a roadshow of sorts. Madhurima, Piyush, Tanisha, as well as Harsha, all of them joining us on this broadcast. To Harsha first, I think, who's following Manish Sisodia. Harsha, give us a sense of what's happening over there. Obviously, the obviously the Aam Aadmi Party is wanting to make as much political capital as they can of this.
Exactly, Nupur, you stated correctly, because Aam Aadmi Party has decided how they can gain political mileage and political benefit out of this interrogation of CBI. I would like my camera person Manish to show you the visuals as entire ITO is jam-packed. As we are following the cavalcade of Manish Sisodia, we show you the bike rally, we show you how on Jeep and the several vehicles of Manish Sisodia, where all the MLAs are there in the cavalcade of Manish Sisodia. Along with them, all the bike could be seen on the road. We are exactly at ITO. We have reached, and from here Rajghat is not much far. It's almost 2 kilometers from here, but a huge jam because a huge cavalcade is here. Many vehicles in the cavalcade of Manish Sisodia. Manish Sisodia is leading the cavalcade, and the entire stretch can be seen. You can see flags, sloganeering, bikes, jeep, everything on this ITO as they all move towards Rajghat. They have been sloganeering. They have been saying that this is the second term of freedom struggle from agencies which BJP is misusing. And here we show you the visuals of the bikers. We say female, women, male, everyone in this bike rally, the supporters, sympathizers of Aam Aadmi Party. Nupur, these are the visuals from National Capital, from the roads of Delhi as they move from Aam Aadmi Party towards Rajghat, and then from Rajghat they will go to CBI. So these are the visuals as the supporters turn in favor of Manish Sisodia. Their sympathizers are on road. A huge crowd could be seen here from National Capital. Nupur, back to you.
Right, stay with us. Let's quickly go across to Tanisha, who's reporting from the Rajghat. That's going to be his next stop before, of course, he reaches the CBI's office. Tanisha, obviously this is something that the Aam Aadmi Party has thought very carefully about. But I'm just thinking about all those people who are stranded on Delhi's roads. It's a Monday morning. It's Diwali.